Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Life Cafe. How are you? Let me make sure. Okay, it looks like I am able to set this. Well, hello everyone. How are you? And welcome to Life Cafe. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Life Cafe. How are you? Let me make sure. Okay, it looks like I am able to set this. Well, hello everyone. How are you? And welcome to Life Cafe. We found the culprit there. Okay, so welcome. We are live streaming so other people can take advantage of this beautiful moment and this beautiful community and know what it's about when we step into the joy of being. And that's what this is. It's meeting in presence. It's meeting in non-judgment. It's showing up and just slowing down and really connecting with the being part of us, because that is obviously what we talk about in Doulagivers Institute, what we see with our beautiful patients, and also is what Life Mastery is about, is understanding that you are a human being and not a human doing. And just slowing down and remembering that, because all of the directions and the guidance and the answers and the peace and the home that you have is within, and it's with connection. And this is that group of connection. So I want to welcome you all here. We do have some new faces, and we want to welcome you, and everyone is invited to the space, whether you are a death doula, doula giver, whether you are a community member, whether you are anyone. Everyone is welcome here. Everyone is seen and everyone is heard. So if you can be on your camera, it would be great. I know that sometimes you don't want to do that, but it is really helpful. And again, this is our meeting. So we like to turn it over to our group to ask questions, to share stories, anything that you want to meet in presence. And we often know that the intensity of the human part of the journey is there, right? So there's lots always going on, depending on and I often think about, yes, we know where we're at in this moment of our evolution and journey. However, I feel like things have always been happening. Obviously, they go through iterations and cycles, but because we're connected at every moment in real time to everything. I mean, we all got one of these pretty much that are glued to our hips, and we're constantly on it. You go to check your email, you're inundated with, news flashes. You go on your Facebook to talk to people, and all of a sudden, you're derailed and all of this. So for me, I feel like because we're connected to so many things in real time and influenced by a lot of that, it's overwhelming. So not that things didn't happen years back, cycles back. We know that they did. And I know this is a unique time. It always will be. It always will be something. What's the learning here? But also the fact that we are connected on every level. Even talking to my beautiful mother last night, who I love dearly, she likes to kind of get into the weeds of some stuff and talk about. And I said, you can't control certain things. So focus on, oh, yes, that's right. What can we control? And it really does shape you. If there are things that are happening in the world and there's things that are happening that is out of your control, what can you control? And I often will go back to talking about how each and every one of us, every single day, have a choice on how we're going to show up in this journey. And you're either going to show up in love, in presence and non-judgment, or you're going to show up in separation and ego, in fear, and all of the things that go under that. That's what changes the world. So yes, is it great to have certain things in place and certain people that you can look upon? But why are we giving over all of our focus and power, for lack of a better word, to those circumstances when you and I have a choice every single day on how I show up today? And think about it. If we all showed up just in presence, don't know each other's stories, not judging each other, and just holding space for one another, wow, that's the change. And that's what this group really is. So let's get into the joy of being. If you'd like to share, and we'd love to hear from you, you have a menu bar at the bottom of your screen on Zoom, and one should have a hand raise. If you don't have that for whatever reason, your digital hand, you can let us know in the chat. I'll try and check the chat as well. But we'd love for you to have the opportunity to just join and come on with your beautiful selves, unmute yourself, and we'll go in order. But I will welcome in the chat. So we have lots of good chat stuff. So Mary Grace, welcome from Tennessee. Gina's here from California. Linda's here from South Florida. Yay. Lori is here from Tucson, Arizona. Connie's here from Connecticut. Hey, Connie. Nina from North Carolina. Eileen, yes, welcome. Bonnie is here from Greenville, Washington, North Carolina. I have been off track for a while due to family issues. Happy to be back on the path starting this week. Thank you, Bonnie, and sending you lots of love around that. And yeah, that is going to happen, right? So certain things happen, but when we have a plan and when we have structure around building our business and what we're doing, you just get back to it when you can. So it's a great thing, and I'm glad that you're here and glad you're back. Lori, yep, glad you're back. Lots of love for you. Gillian is here from West Texas. Sean is here from California. Laura says, hi, all from my hospital bed. Oh, in Wisconsin. Happy to have something else to focus on. Welcome, Lori. Sending you lots of love. My gosh, yes. Isn't it great? You know what? Technology can be an amazing thing. And I think like with anything, it's great when we make advances, but when we allow them to use us and not use them wisely. But the fact that we can connect in COVID, you know, I often will say, what are the gifts of COVID? I always look for the learning in a situation, even though sometimes it seems really difficult. I know they're there. And one of the gifts of COVID is, number one, we are all going to have an end of life with ourselves and those we love, no matter where we are in the world. So before, people are like, oh, you know, maybe, you know, and we're acting like that, like it's optional. People in the high mountains of Thailand, where I was, were affected by COVID at some point, because it, you know, if it's over. So we all realized that, wow. We also realized that doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have and everything, everyone at the end. So we really want to bring in how much more similar and equal we are. Those things are fine, but it doesn't matter at the end of life. And it also showed us that what happens when we're not prepared for it, because we don't know when it's going to show up. So what happens when I don't have my paperwork in order? I don't have an advance directive. I haven't put the items that I really love dearly, put in some sort of format where they're going. And so that was one of them. And then the other is that we can connect with each other from all around the world on this thing called Zoom, for lack of better, which really was an incredibly beautiful thing, because we had 3 of these meetings, by the way, weekly for about a year and a half once COVID hit, like in the first week. Because the thing that I was worried about, well, I was worried about a few things, but, you know, again, what can you control? What you can't control is the isolation for people, is the unknowing, because, you know, no, I don't even know if they know now fully what went on, but wanting to be able to connect with people. So that was a beautiful thing. So welcome to everyone. Yes, here, I'm just checking if there's any questions, but lots of love here. Great. Okay, great. So if you have a question, you can put in the chat, but we want to hear from you. So hands up, let's talk, ask questions, whatever you want to do, share a story. Where are you at? Do you need coaching on something to help you move your needle forward? And we'll go in order. So if somebody would like to unmute yourself, if you can't find the hand raise for whatever reason, just unmute yourself right now and we'll try and go in as much of an order as we can. Eileen, you seem to always kick us off, and that's such a beautiful thing. And I really appreciate that from you. So you are
Thank you for saying that, because I feel like I end up taking up time, but I was waiting for other people to raise their hands, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Gillian, because I haven't heard from her in a long time either.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say welcome to everybody, and as those of you who've been on this journey alongside me, it's been a really unexpected and difficult detour. I'm trying to imagine my future that is going to be authentically mine. What do I want? How do I want it to be? Because I'm like 30 years too late in reaching growing up. I feel like I'm 30 now. That's the kind of thinking. And it's all due to the trauma that is so global. It's affected every inch of my life. but I'm at this real turning point, and it's like a Winnie the Pooh thing where there's signs going in different directions. Which road do we take? And trying to explore all of them. And I'm finding that that's what I have to do, because otherwise I'm kind of stuck here. I'm kind of paralyzed by the amount of grief, the exhaustion I feel, so much emotional upheaval, and trying to put the pieces back together the way that is authentic to me, not the way that was projected to me onto me or I internalized. So I'm just sharing that I'm at that point where it's like, okay, what options do I have left? How can I take, what things can I control? What things can't I? Very much in line with what you were talking about.
Yes. Eileen, thank you so much for that share. So may I offer you and the group something? When we talk about being a human being, okay, and I want you to hold on to this. You've got a human story of you over here. You've got a being story of you here. Okay, so there's two things. Now, we understand the human story is the challenges, the growth, the life lessons. This is like the school of life, right? But if I, Suzanne, can step into and connect with the being perspective, that higher perspective that we see from people at the end of life, that they get their spiritual wisdom, the clarity, they're able to look back on their life and say, oh, it's like putting pieces together. It's incredible to watch. If we can strengthen that connection to our being self now, be able to look at our life circumstances through that being part of us that is always perfect, that is always home, that is always where it should be in the perfect way and connected. If I can look at my life's journey, what were the lessons there, and know that I'm here to learn. Now, I do want to point out some awareness to you, if I may, with so much love wrapped around it. When you started out about it's too late, 30 years too late. So that's the human story. And when you're speaking in those terms of regret and anger and grief, as you talk about, which totally is all valid, by the way, because of what your experience is, the pain from them. But when we are looking at them with the heavy regret, it's that human story that is keeping you in the most loving way, for all of us.
Yes.
Not able to look, you want to strengthen this and remind yourself. And I know it's not easy, but I know it's on the other side of
But
that.
here's what the clue into that is that I've discovered is that I've always had that connection. That
we
was
know.
that was a survival thing. And it's part of why I think in many ways I have always resisted the status quo. Why I have been an activist, why I did want to change things for animals, why I have done political work, I've done a lot of different things, but there's always been part of me that has said, like, just don't get into the fray with the nonsense, and just remember that bird's eye view you've always had. And I always did. Even I recall it from the hospital at 18 months old, and looking out and saying, looking at the stars at night, saying, that's where I belong. And I always had that inner feeling. So it's trying to weave that into human life is maybe where I get stuck.
Well, sure. And we all have that. So I love that you identified that, because you all have those moments of being where you're like, oh, I totally remember. I totally am connected. Here's the key: strengthen it, practice daily, have that become the predominant way in which you flow energetically through this experience. So where's your practice at? And Eileen, I do want to let some other people share so we can come back, but I want you to think about this, and everyone as well, because I have to practice as well. Where's your daily practice? How is that going? And I would say quadruple down on it. When we're feeling, forget about everything else. Don't try and think your way out of a situation. Practice and see what comes, because it's amazing what happens. Okay, Eileen, thank you for starting this off, and thank you for that, surrounding me with so much love. Gillian.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
I my problem is kind of dovetailing with Eileen's. It's just I came to El Paso with great plans to take care of my mom, help her out, and caregiving just absorbed so much. The dying process just amped everything up. And since my mom died, there's nothing. The motivation, the enjoyment of life is just gone. My daily practice is a very logical thing of what I am grateful for, but I'm not feeling it. And I am trying to ground myself, fill myself with light. And but basically I'm just so confused about how to get back into my body and how to enjoy what is good in my life, and also to try to find some direction. There were so many things I wanted to do, and life just seems so numb right now.
Okay. Well, first of all, just again, sending you so much love around that. So there is a period that you do have to process, as that caregiver and everything that's going on, what is happening. But the fact that you feel, not connected to any joy at all and that kind of thing. So that I want to give you a tool, and you may invite this in and you may not. When we feel just like we have nothing, or we're not connected and there's nothing for us, one of the best ways to change that energy is to go help somebody who needs it more, to go volunteer your time with other people in whatever capacity. Animals, for Eileen, obviously that comes to mind, but Meals on Wheels, something simple that can take you out of you and get you in that connected place of purpose. And then it should be able to kind of build on that. And I know that might not always sound appealing, but I'm going to tell you it works every time.
Okay. I just recently got from a Vietnam veteran nurse, sent me Vietnam veteran beads to hand out at the VA. And that's where my heart is. Maybe that's where I'll try going.
I love that for you, Gillian, that you've always talked about the VA. Go over and visit. Just sit and listen to these wonderful people who've given their life on so many levels to us, and it will knock you into a different perspective.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. I love that for you. Yeah, let's throw up some hearts for everybody. Just amazing, you guys. Laura, you are actually next. Your hand is up. Are you able to come on screen? And if not, okay. Hi.
Good. I'm good.
Oh, hello there.
Hi. I do a lot of, talking about volunteering, I do a lot of nursing home visits for our congregation. And through that, I've made friends with someone of the other residents at the nursing home. One in particular kind of hit me the other day, and I honestly didn't know how to respond to her or what to say, because she's wheelchair bound, she's contracted. I help her with bingo. She'll tell me yes if she's got the bingo numbers and stuff, and I really enjoy that. But she has recently been put in hospice at the nursing home, and she shared with her friend that she's afraid to die.
Okay.
And I didn't really know. It just kind of took me off guard, and I really wasn't sure what to say to her or how to approach it.
Right. So here's one question for you. Did she tell the friend? She told a friend, so she didn't tell you.
No.
Or is that in confidence that that friend was not supposed to tell you? Because how do you approach it if you're not supposed to?
Right. And then I've been talking to the friend, and she's going to talk to Julie and tell Julie that I'm here for her.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So how I would approach this, Laura, is allowing somebody to know the work and study that you have done in this space, and offer yourself to them, that if they have any questions at all, would like to talk about it, would like to hear what you've learned, and know that you are there for them. So it opens that bridge to that door. Because one of the things that I find with our doula giver families and death doula and hospice is that most people don't know firsthand what end of life looks like because we've removed it so much and developed this fear around it, that when you come in as that practitioner in this space, that they want to hear. They want to know the truth about it. And here's the thing, we all know how beautiful and well end of life can go with the right support. So providing, and I think for all of you who are doula givers here, I feel like that is really important for you to embody what your role is as a teacher of this next shift of culture, which is mind-boggling every time I say that, of where did end of life ever become the number one fear, and something that is completely stripped of all its beauty and stripped of all its learning and stripped of all its ritual world today. And you are those pioneer leaders that are shifting culture in your communities with your people and holding space just for conversations like this. The other thing is, when someone says, I'm afraid to die, get to the root of the fear. Try and cover it. Because when I have worked with families who said, I said, okay, so what is the actual fear? And they'll sit there and they'll think and they'll think. And many times they're like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I just saw my parents be afraid of it, or they wouldn't let me see my grandmother. So hold that space for her, let them know what you do, and open yourself up to be of service to them for whatever questions they have.
I've actually thought about when my back is better, I'm going to actually do a little more volunteer work and actually let the nursing home know what I do. And there may be people there that have no one at the end of life, and I'd be more than happy to be part of that.
How beautiful is that? And what's really gorgeous is people are picking their doulas before they ever need them. And I think that is a phenomenal idea. They're like, who's my doula in my area then? Let me interview her. Let me talk about my issues. If they have me, I'm like, I'm all set. Awesome. So whenever we show up, which we know it was, we're feeling good about that. And all those people who don't have somebody, let's step into those roles for them. Let's figure out how to serve them, because there are many. There are. So you, my dear, need to heal. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad. And thank you for being of service to those people. All right. Lori Neal, you are next. Just unmute yourself, my dear. So you have to click on that. You have to just click on your red microphone there. Just click it and it will unmute. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Hi.
Awesome. Hi, welcome. Good morning. It's still morning here in Tucson, but I just want to start by, from that place of oneness, sending out, that love to everybody that needs it right now. And my thought was, personally, I try to remind myself that our bodies can react. We don't know, it's an emotion is an emotion. And so I remind myself, we don't recognize good and bad and all of these feelings, and just sitting with it and being at peace with yourself. So I'm sending that love out there. And then secondly, so I am new. I don't know how many people in this Life Cafe are new people, but I'm really excited to be here. And I'm working through the modules and working through my things. And I'm really anxious to do more. So I'm curious at the beginning stages where I've worked with people as caregiver, but not as, this is all Death Doula and End of Life is all very brand new to me. So I don't feel comfortable really getting out there as far as saying I'm some sort of doula yet in this area. So I'm curious what I could fill my time with, because I've done the work, I've done the reading, and I'm like, okay, and I'm ready. I got accepted as a volunteer at a local hospice down the street. And I'm not even quite sure I'm ready to get in there as a volunteer as a death doula, because I don't know. I just am looking for maybe recommendations for people.
From people. Lori, I love the clarity, because it's so important. The more clear you can be, the more you will align with your purpose of your journey. And I was just reading this article on a study from UK on death doulas and end of life doulas, a very, very in-depth one. And they, again, spotted out that there's no government licensure and no cohesive training for doulas. And there's a good thing that it's not a government licensure, and we know why, because we don't have restrictions of time, and that's our best medicine. However, with that, there is a bit of confusion over what trainings and what death doulas do, because they all have different trainings and different skill sets. And then the families and the medical practitioners don't know who has what training and who can do what and who has that. So that is a problem. So for you and doula givers, it's very important that you understand you have 3 certifications. One is the care consulting education, one is the elder care doula, and one is the death doula. So I want us to move away from thinking that my role is going to be full-time death doula at the bedside of the dying, because that is not actually the case. Your people will come and go, your families will come and go. And I really always recommend for you to work with one family for the duration so that you can be there holding them in that space through everything end of life. You're not waiting for another person to come. You don't know you'll have another end of life. And if you're back to back end of life, end of life, end of life, it's a burnout and it's very intense. One of the things I absolutely love and what's really critically important for shifting the culture and also leading to good deaths is the education piece. So you going out to your communities, and you said, you're a caregiver with elders, so you know that space, you know what the gaps in that space are, and there are multitudes, you know the struggles that families are having, and you know what people that are elderly, they need companionship, they need, different ways that we don't have. So to offer you to think in terms of get out in your community and offer a library. I started out 1 library event a month for 2 hours. That was it. That's how entirely Doulagivers Institute was built. Never thought that this was going to be what it was, because I don't think like that anymore. I just follow the first impulse of what's needed. Let the universe take over, because it's much wiser than I am, that higher guidance. But also, this is perfect for you because you do have that elder space where you can talk about what you've seen that people should know about how to age well and take care of their parents. And then, of course, I can't say enough about doing our advanced directives and planning ahead. Having a blueprint saves so much money, saves so much stress, saves family from fighting. That you can do, and then you can be in place for your end of life clients when you are ready and when they come.
Great.
I love it. And you already said all of that, my dear, because your clarity was like, I'm not and so I was just helping to kind of through line that for you, but you've got it. And the best thing we could ever do is follow our gift and our through line, because it's telling you, it's giving you that. And that's where the path and all the magic happens. So congratulations, Lori. And thank you for being here. All right. Shay. Hello. Just unmute yourself, my dear. Where did you go? All right, so you have to just unmute that, click on that red microphone. And it's amazing that I still forget to do that sometimes. And Lord knows I've done a lot of these. So you have to click that red mic, your mic. And if you're,
okay. Sorry. You have to be on the main screen to do it. You can't be on the tile screen with all of the faces to get the mute off.
I hear you. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Really good. Just got over a nasty bug. So I know my voice is not all there. I just wanted to share a couple of things in line with kind of what we're all going through in, I would say, identity and some imposter syndrome still. That's always something that I struggle with. I joined a local Rotary Club here in Vegas recently, which I highly recommend. For volunteer work and for networking.
Yep.
And they asked me for my badge, what my occupation is. And I had a really hard time formulating this because they specifically said not your job title and not your company. And I thought, wow, what does that mean? And a good friend of mine works as a consultant for a huge firm. And she turned to me very calmly and said, "You're a consultant." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not." And we kind of went back and forth. And she said, "Write down all the things that you offer, all of your services." And then she said, "You are clearly a consultant."
I love that so much.
And it helped me so much because I've really been embracing this concept for the past few weeks.
You're giving me chills.
Yeah, so that's been something that as I've started wrapping my mind around that, that's really helped me in concepts that I want for my business as well, and how all the different ways that we can help people really do fit in the consulting category. Yeah. And I also just finished a hypnotherapy course. It was a level 1 hypnotherapy course. And I can say for anyone who has ever considered doing that type of work, that I think that this is going to be, I know that this is going to be so beneficial. I just did a session with a family member yesterday to dial down pain. And these are all practice sessions. I've done dozens of them now. And can highly recommend for anyone who's drawn to it. I think it can be a great tool in our toolkit.
Love it. Yeah. So first of all, yay for you and congratulations. And I love that. And it's so interesting because I have a big board here and it says certified doula givers, end of life planning consultants and practitioners. Because your consultant role, you have to remember, is huge in your training, in your space, in your offering, and you're highly educated in that. Care consultant, elder care planning, living well aging plans, that is a consultant piece. By the way, consultant pieces are a high price point when you educate as a consultant. And then you can be the practitioner if you choose to want to do elder care, if you choose to want to work bedside at with the dying. But again, remember, you're helping families hold that space to know what to do. It's very important that they do that, even though it's more of that role at the bedside. Most of your work and offering is teaching and consulting. So hold on to end of life consulting is a huge, beautiful statement, and it perks people up because they're like, wow. And here's the thing. When I hear that we're aging for decades longer, like to me, it's like good news, bad news. Okay. And I know it's good news probably to a lot of people, but if the quality of life is there, it's not good news. If I don't have quality of life, if I'm suffering, if I don't have finances, if I'm like all the things that we actually are seeing so much of right now. So, but because we know how to extend that life, I want to know from you as a consultant, how do I age well? How do I age well? Who's going to care for me when I don't have a lot of people? How do I figure out living circumstances? What are my options? It's like empowering. So yes, Shay. Yes, Shay. And thank you for the Rotary. It's one of my first talks I ever did was at, and you want to explain to what you do, and you'll have a flock of people that want to follow up with you, usually from those things. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Thank you for that awareness. Consultants, absorb that, get that. You are that. Maggie, your birthday's coming up, my dear. I don't have to tell you that. I know you know that. I'm telling everyone else that. You have to unmute yourself too. You have to hit your microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, birthday girl.
Now I got it. Yes, birthday's coming up. Anybody fixing to be 65, it is not fun. But make sure you have enough time. Push the limit, and that's so. Word to the wise: start early. Now, I had 3 things I wanted to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Remember your audience. What
Yes.
I did to begin with was do shows, events, fairs, those kinds of things. And I shared this before. What I found happened was the senior citizens liked the mints on the table, but most of the responses were, don't need that now, don't need that now. What I learned from that was really important to know the vendors, really important to see some of those that are there. I did a county thing with the senior citizens and just had my table. But one of the big things that happened with that was I got to know one of our senior parks has a senior wing. And yesterday I met with them and I was talking to them, and I was watching her listen. They have a whole thing, probably 50 seniors, a billiard table, the whole gamut. And she said, and then I started talking about family and about 20% of boomers don't have children, and how those that do are estranged, and how I fell into that category. And she said, hey, we have family programs too. And I thought, oh, so we talked a little bit about that. The other thing is Christelle, one of the newer doulas, said something about the white elephant, bring the elephant and put the elephant in the room. And I just went ahead and said, hey, I have an elephant. And so when we start talking, and that really went well. She liked the elephant. She mentioned it 3 times in the conversation. Now, the second thing I wanted to say was, Okay, YMCA also, and churches also on family programs that I've realized. There's a lot of grief and loss right now. You don't have to be 64, 65 to have grief and loss, and y'all know everybody on here knows somebody that is experiencing that. One of the things that I didn't realize was, and I read this morning and I thought I needed to share it, 40% of the divorced people right now are 50 years old and older. 40%. What really surprised me was people that were 65 and older from the 90s. 65 and older tripled from the 90s to now. Now, what deal does that have with us? Well, that deals to me is, who is it that's going to take care of them? So you can use those statistics to say, hey, particularly for those others. The other thing is the grief and loss. I think that moving in that category, that Suzanne's offering some of those things, I think that may be a way to go. And I guess the last thing, which is really tied to that, is be where you are emotionally. Eileen mentioned something. Gillian mentioned something. I think if you put down all your life experiences and your emotions, one page on emotions and one thing on life experiences, you will see where you are. And it will come through as to what your area is, what you need to do for yourself, and how you can help other people. Just look at you in that.
I love you. Thank you so much for your share. I just want to clarify, when you said people came by your table and said, oh, I don't need it, push it away, I don't need it. What did your table specify? What was the wording?
Well, what I did was have my brochures, and what I'm realizing is I need a thing that says Maggie Dow Cares. I need to get a tablecloth or banner that says that. But they say, come up, and I'd say, I am an elder care specialist and I work as an end of life doula. And I bet you don't know what that is, because most people hadn't heard it. Have you heard of a birth and doula? And I went along those ways. I think when you say end of life to anybody, and my dad's 91, so I get to practice on him all the time. And, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. But again, that means go back to your audience, because if we were doing for daddy, it wouldn't be him choosing the stuff and it wouldn't be him paying for it. He would not be the one doing it. It would be my sister and my brother and me. And I have to emphasize that more in my head, because I'm thinking elder care. I'm thinking that way. And if I'm gonna get paid, I got to have the people who want the service.
And you said this within your talk. So you're a certified doula giver. Oh, what is that? Now, who are you speaking to? Where are you showing up in that space? If you're showing up with Aging Well, you're going to lead with, that's how you help people to pre-plan living well aging plans. That sounds great. It depends on, be very sensitive to that, and also know that end of life up front turns off a lot of people depending on where you are. You also nailed it, is that the biggest mistake people make is understanding who their actual client is when they graduate. Your client is not the person that's dying. That's who you're caring for. That's who the plan is for. That's who you're educating. Your client is the family caregiver. That's who you're speaking to. That's who you're messaging. And that's that woman or man who's going to be lost and confused and saddened. So you highlighted a lot of really important things, but you're a certified doula giver. What does that mean? Oh, end of life planning and consulting. Great. Tell me more. I have a mother who's aging. What can I do? Let's have a 30-minute consultation. Who are you speaking to? That was beautiful, Maggie. Thank you so much for all of your shares. Always so good. Dawn, love those hearts in the background, Dawn.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm enjoying everything I'm hearing. I can relate personally to all of it. I'll be 64 coming up here soon, so I get it. I wanted to share about the topic of gratitude today. I have been involved with a friend of mine who is just dealing with a tragedy with her 14-year-old son, who was in an awful accident. And long story short, he 14 years old, and it's just been one by one amputation of each one of his fingers, and now amputation of his hand, and potentially amputation of his arm. I have had to just take my title away and just, show up for comfort, and just, trying to hold space for peace for my friend, who is, the mother. She's just, devastated. But, he did not die. They saved his life, which is, a miracle. I myself have been going through a very hard recovery from an accident I had where I had to have my hip replaced. And my recovery has been a long trek, lots of steps backwards. And I've been kind of, I think, feeling a little sorry for myself before about not being able to get out there and do what I want to do and start my death cafe and be outside and whatever. But, you know, I, I'm grateful now that, hey, I was able to have my hip replaced. I'm able to walk. I did not lose my leg, and I was able to show up, and, be a comfort and I guess a grief doula, to my friend, and be present with her over FaceTime, so now I'm just getting like kind of excited about maybe starting teledoula stuff.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but
Yes, you do. You've already done it.
so I guess it feels like weird but hey, we're here at Hollywood Squares, I'm dating myself with that. So yeah, I'm so grateful, to be able to show up, and I think when we kind of like when I thought of like doing this as a business, all of a sudden I got like really scared, and I didn't know if I was going to do it good enough, and I didn't know if I was going to do it the right way. But when the grief shows up and when the thing shows up, you just kind of appear the way you're
Just
supposed to.
focus on service.
Yeah, just comfort, just comfort,
Show up.
presence, so I am so grateful today to, be here and hearing everybody, and I'm blazing the trail slowly but surely.
Dawn, that's so beautiful. So surrounding your friend, her son, their whole family, and so much love and healing. And what I just want to reiterate that you shared is that the universe has such a bigger plan for us. So when you be grateful for it all, when you think you're supposed to be out there, go, 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 and the universe has said, oh, hold on, sit still for a minute, which is a big learning, by the way, and then starts to create a different path for you. Know that it's always on your behalf. And so giving you this opportunity to serve this family, but also threw you into teledoula. Like, you're like, how am I going to do it? And always focus, just like you did on the gratitude, which is the gift of life mastery, is being grateful for it all and being able to switch things and what you don't have to being grateful for that hip and being able to serve. And then focus on service. That's all you have to focus on, is how do I show up to be of service, and everything else will fall into place. I promise you that.
Let me
So
add one thing. I don't know if you recall, but I wanted to focus on pediatric hospice.
yes, yes.
And of course, I was like, oh, please, Lord, don't let this be my first case, of my friend's child. But interesting how I'm pulled, into a pediatric, kind of circumstance. And, he's actually asking me, like, what do I do? I don't know how I'm going to live without my hand. I don't know, oh my God, how am I going to live without an arm? So this is going to be an ongoing thing, and I'm not quite sure what to say yet.
So yeah, Dawn,
surgeries, he's still having surgery after surgery,
Yeah. So Dawn, first of all, obviously showing up, and we're not here to fix it, but if there are examples of people who've been through situations, please share that with him.
Oh, the shark chick. Yeah.
The surfer, because we don't know what it's like to not be able to have our arm or our hand, and it's unimaginable. And 14 years old, right? Your whole life hasn't started. That's exactly what this girl's path was. In that age, see if you can pull out some stuff from her and let her, maybe they'll even meet one day. Who knows? Like the universe, but that is a role model for him, that somebody who's actually knows what that's like and has triumphed, and he can learn from. So
the universe takes you where you need to go. It just does.
Dawn, beautiful. Your light is really good, shining. I love it. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, Bonnie, thank you for your patience. And I know that your hand has been up for a while. So you are next. Hello there.
Hello, and thank you for welcoming me back with such beautiful hands overall. First thing I just want to say, there was some language that you used today that I am going to take and make my own because it was just so beautifully done in all of the work that I do. I work with I work for a children's advocacy center right now, and I do a lot of work in regards to prevention of child maltreatment. And when I talk with parents and they talk about, you know, what has happened to them in their past, I loved the way you said, I just want to point out an awareness with a whole lot of love wrapped around it. That is something that just creates such beautiful heart-to-heart, head-to-head connection, cortex to cortex connection, that can be used in so many different ways. And I just love how you did that. I do want to share just a couple of things that I have been experiencing. Even though I haven't been doing the modules, I am still out there already having these conversations. I am oftentimes asked to be a guest speaker at a variety of different functions. I work with what we call PIT Partners for Health. It's a coalition of all different health providers, different folks that are in the business, and we focus on you know, mental well-being, wellness, as well as physical well-being and wellness, and sharing all these ideas. And as part of that work, I've been connected with our senior center, and they've invited me to speak in regards to resilience and being well when well isn't what you feel. And then that has translated into, you know, how to respond to burnout regarding diabetes care. And so now what I'm doing is coming up with menus of, here are the different topics that I can kind of share with your golden group, or here's another topic. And so that's how I've actually gotten folks to be open to these conversations, is starting with resiliency, starting with gratitude. I have a presentation called The Gift of Gratitude, what's so great about gratitude and how it impacts, and have then kind of gone through with how do we stay well when we're doing the hard work that we're doing. So secondary traumatic stress. So these are the types of presentations that I give on a regular basis. I travel across all Eastern North Carolina doing that. And now I'm wrapping in this aging well topic as part of that. Secondly, I volunteer for a hospice, and the volunteer coordinator and I have been having some conversation because she has noticed that I have a different way of doing things, and it's really the influence of the Doulagivers information. And she said, I just wish more people had a better understanding. And I said, well, you know, we get asked to talk at a variety of different places and spaces. I'd be happy to put together a presentation for the hospice and to talk about you know, end of life care and preparation. So I'm meeting with her next week to start this plan. And so these glimmers, the universe winking at me on a regular basis, I might not be doing it all in the same order, but it's getting done. And so that the arrows are all pointing in the right direction. They're just not in a straight line sometimes. And so when I'm listening to some of you folks talking about, you know, you're not there yet, or you're not sure if you're ready, well, you know what? You might be ready to do something. Something is better than nothing. And so I invite you to celebrate those little things that pop up, those little glimmers, and grab them, because eventually you're going to end up with a full room filled with light. So just wanted to share that.
So beautiful, Bonnie. Thank you so much. So much there for all of us to enjoy. We will never feel that we are 100% ready. I'll just let you know that right now, because there's no such thing. And with that being said, you're perfectly ready right now, whatever that's calling you to do. And I know Shay had mentioned imposter syndrome. So I just want to say one thing about imposter syndrome, because I know it's a buzzword that comes out a lot. I don't think that it is imposter syndrome at all. What I think it is that you haven't aligned vibrationally with that part of you that has that calling, because you're all here for a reason, that you know that you are meant to do the work, serve in this capacity. I had zero end of life experience. When I was called to go to hospice, I heard go to hospice. So you want to talk about being frightened? And they hired me and gave me a list of patients and sent me on my way and said, oh, just call if you have any questions. Call if I have any questions. End stage breast cancer, ALS. These are people who are at the end of life. I was petrified, but I also knew that I was supposed to be there, and that faith was stronger than my fear. So you all have it. You just haven't vibrationally aligned with it and trusted in that. All you have to do is connect and just start where you are and let things open. Focus on service. That's a key. Bonnie, congratulations. Keep us posted on all that good work. We're here to help you as well with anything you need. Okay, Sean, you are next. If you are able to come on screen, that's a beautiful thing. If not, don't worry, Sean Marie. Maybe you've stepped away from your computer, because that does happen.
No, start video.
Hello.
Am I there? Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm in California, and I just want to say I'm so grateful to be here. And for me, with my life experiences, even though I'm looking at 60 spins in December, and I'm not in gear yet, but I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And all of the life lessons adding up to this are preparing me for what's ahead, and it's going to be great.
Love
so
it.
That's where I'm at. And so I just want to share a little bit. My great grandmother gifted me with being comfortable with death at an early age. My family was they lived in Illinois, and they were poor farmers. We were looking at family pictures. There was a picture of the barn, and it was snowy, and there was a body obviously covered up. And she had explained that was Uncle so-and-so, and that he had passed and the ground was frozen, so he couldn't be buried yet. Simple. That was it. Yeah. That was it.
There you go.
And so I've been okay with it since. Then fast forward, I'm 13 years in recovery, and upon returning from to my home to start that journey, I connected with a retired hospice worker who held full moon drumming circles. Anyways, I would ask what my passion, and she is the one who guided me into becoming a non-medical end of life doula. And I'm grateful. With my experience as a hairdresser, I became an educator and a national educator. So I'm very comfortable with educating and teaching. And I've done work, and I don't want to say all aspects, but I have held space for families and friends. And I just feel I want to be an educator. I am an educator, because my thing is, it's not if, but when for all of us. So let's talk about it. Right. So I relocated to a new community, Idlewild. There's a beautiful center, Spirit Mountain, who hosts death cafes. And I'm just looking at connecting with my community, not only in Idlewild, but online, and just get this show started.
Get this show started. I love that. And I love that you said all of your experiences brought you to this moment for the next chapter. And that is so true. It is your soul fuel. All of the life lessons that we've been through, all of the challenges, all of the things that we've done, it's all for a purpose. It's all bringing you to this moment. So I want you to honor all of it. And I want you to just treat it with that, because a lot of times we wish we had done things differently, or things were, and use it as your soul fuel, because it is, and that's what brings you here. And so teaching, just love that so much. And here's just a drop of a pearl for all of you. All you have to do is hold a circle and say, when I say death and dying, what comes to your mind? Boom, 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 share, share, share. And I'll tell you something, everything will take on wings. This is not complicated. It's just holding space, and it's saying, yes, I'm going to show up in this. So it's really great. There's so much to do here. Sean, thank you for that. Love that. Okay, Gina, you will then take us into the last share, and I'm so glad you're sharing, and then we'll go into our meditation.
Okay. Some days I'm really confident, and some days I'm not. Today is a not day. So
got you. We're here together.
Me.
We've got you. We're here together.
Oh, okay. Dawn, I just wanted to say thank you for showing up for your friend. Yes. I lost my son, 22 years old. And just people, without saying words, just being there and showing up for them is huge when you're dealing with child trauma of any kind, loss, injury, fear. that stuff. So thank you, Dawn, for showing up for them. And since my son died, I've been with my dad here in his home for 12 years. When my son died, I moved back in with my dad. I was kind of back and forth. And then my dad had a stroke, hemorrhagic stroke. So that created dementia. And then COVID hit within a month of that.
Yeah.
So with all of those things, I became very agoraphobic and anxiety.
Sure.
So those things I am working on overcoming. And I was a hospice volunteer for many years. I've been with probably 30-ish people in multiple aspects of end of life. And I worked in skilled nursing and assisted living. So I had some beautiful experiences, and I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. After Dad died, I found your program, Saving Grace. It took me out of my woe is me life and gave me something to focus on and study. And it took, because of the trust in everything and a contentious air and horrible traumas. I took a little time off, and now I'm back. And my mission now is spending every day I can learning more and more about this. I haven't quite figured out, are you really going to go out and do it? Or are you kind of just loving the learning and being part of everybody here, these groups, the death cafes? I attend every single online death cafe I can find. And so I'm not positive what I'll do with my knowledge. I have business cards, website, I've got all of that going. But I wanted to say thank you to everybody. And I'm thankful for the security of having my home. And Suzanne's voice tells me all the time, it's just focus on one thing. So one thing, what is it right now that I'm going to focus on to get to the next thing? If that one thing is stepping out of my comfort zone and getting a client, then great. That's that one thing that will lead to the next. I am working with another doula giver. I'll be meeting her Friday, and we are going to try to do a seminar together, the monthly 12-month program together somehow, but we're meeting on Friday to discuss it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Gina, your story is so powerful, and it's such a learning story for so many. Just your share of that, how you navigated, what you learned in that, and how we can show up for one another. And the other thing I want to invite you and everyone is, if you're starting out and you're not sure where that's all going, even consider inviting a few friends over just to have a small death cafe with your friends, just to talk, to see how that feels. Because I'll tell you, once you start getting a little momentum and you see the magic and the connection that's in this heart-centered space, it just starts you. So that's just a little idea for those of you who, and you might not know where this is going. You know what? I don't know where this is going. Suzanne, you don't know where this is going. Well, I kind of have an idea, but I want you to know that I don't, because I'm smart enough or wise enough to know that it's not up to me to just show up for that one thing. Like Gina said, that's still how I do it. What am I supposed to be doing right at this moment that is the highest ask of heart aligned, and just do that and just wait for the next thing, not push flow. So thank you, Gina.
Yeah, and it's strange for me because in our child loss support group, I'm the one that talks the whole time. And in death cafes, I get picked up on, and then they ask me questions. I'm going to put up a picture of my son so you guys can see his little mug.
Aww.
And thank you for letting me share.
It's a beautiful picture, and I've noticed that way before I knew your story. When you were in class, that beautiful angel is behind you. Oh, it's just wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone. Yeah. So we're going to do a prayer now. We do a meditation. We bring in the light, send it out to the world. This is the energy in which our being part of us, the true part in the collective. This is how we heal. This is how we hold space for the world. So if you feel called, you can close your eyes. We're going to do 3 deep breaths, bring in that light, send it out to the world. Breathe in and hold. And let's have everyone muted. I'm just going to mute people and let it go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. And when we let that breath go, we set the intention to let go of everything and anything that is not serving our highest conscious. And now our eyes are closed, but we imagine that we are outside and the clouds part and the sky is so incredibly blue. It's just incredibly beautiful. And that sun is now moving and coming right above the top of our head. Your eyes are closed, but you see yellow, you see orange, and that sun is opening up the top of your head and pouring into your beautiful body, golden, loving light. You may feel tingling, you may feel a connectedness, a little excitement, and just bathing you in love, in this being conscious energy, pouring down your spine, going through your chakras, through your root chakra, swirling around the center of the earth, coming back up your root chakra, through your spine, through the top of your head to that high sun. Now, when this light comes back down, it's going to expand about 6 feet from your physical body, bathing all of your aura in this loving energy and light. Here it is. It's just bathing you, going down your spine, washing away anything and everything that's not serving your highest consciousness, knowing that everything is energy. That sometimes it's not even our energy that is keeping us stuck and having us feel heavy, that we've just picked it up. So we like to shake that off, cleanse that out. And now this light is going through your chakras down to the center of the earth, picking up momentum in the center of the earth now. And when it comes back up, we are going to, with intention, send it out through our heart chakra. If you feel called, you can put your hands over your heart. And when this light comes back up now, bursting through your root chakra, now bursting through your hands, it's swirling around each and every one of you in this group. Swirling around each and every one of you with sparkles and with like a golden ribbon. So happy just all around each and every one of you. We're going to send this bubble of loving light out to your family members now and community members, surrounding each and every one in this love. Yep, each and every one. Nobody's left out of this. Now, please picture your community members and state that you live in. So the state or province that you live in, and surround it in a golden bubble of light. This light will get larger and larger and larger. Now, please take the country that you live in and surround it in a golden bubble of light. Now, please add in any other country or countries you like this group healing and intention sent to. Now, please take the earth globe in your mind's eye and surround it in a golden pyramid of light, sending every element, every part of nature, every being, every animal, be sent this loving, unconditional light, knowing in truth that we are all connected. And just hold the earth globe there for a minute in this golden pyramid of love, that every being is sent and held in this space. And now I invite you to add anyone or anything you'd like this group healing and intention sent to, including yourself. And we always want to give gratitude and thanks for being able to be a part of this journey at this time. And we humbly ask how we can see, hear, and know how we each can show up to be of the highest service to ourselves and to the universe. Breathe into that and let it go. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the room. Namaste, and so it is. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. What a beautiful session. You are absolutely amazing. You can do that meditation. I start that beginning of my day every day without fail, just bringing in my heart and allowing me to take my hands off the wheel, the human part of me, not trying to figure it out, direct the show, let my heart lead the way. You're all amazing. Thank you so very much for being here. We'll see you in the next meeting. Have a great day, everybody.